Open your book to page 594. Today's lesson is learn how to graph the tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant functions. Okay, so again, the graph, just like before, right? The most fundamental way to do it is you just make a make a table of points and you plot the points and you connect the dots, and then that's how you get a graph. But that method is very primitive. It takes super long time. It takes too much time. So you need to know how to do a quick sketch. Okay. So let's go over secant and cosecant first. So secant and cosecant graph. So let's go to page 595 and let's use some of the example over here. So for example, let's say, okay, I'm just going to give you, just an example. So let's say if I have y equal to secant of, let's say x, for example, okay, to graph these. So best thing to do is just go ahead and remember secant came from cosine, right? So what you want to do is you want to graph the cosine first and then you flip it over after that, okay? So for secant and cosecant, you want to use the wavy graph paper that I gave you yesterday, right? Okay, so secant came from cosine, so let's go and graph the cosine first. So this would be the cosine, right? Now remember, secant of x is equal to 1 over cosine of x, right? It's reciprocal. So this is the cosine graph. So to get to the secant graph, you have to flip everything upside down. So when you flip over, okay, first you have to do is you have to figure out your asymptotes. So like this over here, this is 0, right? This is y equal to 0. When you flip it over, 1 over 0 is infinity. So you're going to get the asymptote, the dotted line. So every time when you have a 0, when you flip it over, you're going to get that. So first you do is flip the 0 into asymptotes. Then after that, you need to flip over the graph. So this graph, when you flip it over, it becomes like this. So this point, when you flip over, will stay the same. But this point is going to approach to infinity when you flip it over. Okay, so those are asymptotes. And so again, it's a vertex, and you just flip it over. Okay, so that's how you flip over the graph. And the numbers, okay, so over here the a is 1, so you have to figure out all these numbers, right? So actually you're supposed to figure out your a, b, and period and all that first. So a equal to 1, so this point would be 1, and this point would be negative 1, right? And the b is equal to 1, and so period is equal to 2 pi over b, right? So equal to 2 pi. So that means here's 0, here's 2 pi. Right? That's one period. Then you have to get your quarter wave. So quarter wave would be 2 pi over 4. So equal to pi over 2. So each section is pi over 2. That means this would be pi over 2. This would be 2 pi over 2. And this would be 3 pi over 2. And if you go backward, this would be negative pi over 2. Negative 2 pi over 2. Again, so quarter wave is the amount of your each division. So this would be negative 3 pi over 2, and this would be negative 4 pi over 2. Okay? And that's your secant graph. Okay. Now let's go over example of cosecant graph. So let's make things a little bit more interesting. Okay? So how about y equal to 3 cosecant of 2x? Okay, how you graph that? Okay, well first you have to get all your information, right? So a equal to 3. And b equal to 2, so period equal to 2 pi over b, so equal to pi, so quarter wave will equal to pi over 4, right? Again, q stands for quarter. What's quarter means? 1/4, right? So now you have all this information. Okay, so again, so cosecant came from sine, right? So first you have to graph y equal to 3 sine of 2x. So you have to graph that first. Okay. So sine starts right over here. So that would be the axis. And so first, let's go and get the asymptotes. So when you flip this over, you're going to get asymptote over here. Okay. And again, notice the difference between secant. Secant is right over here, and cosecant starts like this, right? Okay. So now let's go and start to put in all the stuff. So, well, first let's go and flip over the graph. So this will flip it over this way. So that's my graph. This go this way. This go this way. So your answer would be this part over here. So this wave is not part of your answer. Okay, that is just there to kind of help you to get this graph. Okay, if you want to, you can erase the wave, the wave afterward. Okay, if you want to. Okay, then you're going to put in all the numbers. Now A is 3. That means this point is 3, right? And this point would be -3. Right? That's your amplitude, right? Then your quarter wave is pi over 4. That means every section is pi over 4. So this would be pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4. Again, all these are this is like the vertex over here. This is the asymptote, the vertex, the asymptote, right? So each of those are the one division. And if you go, and this is 0, so you go this way, it's negative pi over 4, negative 2 pi over 4, and negative 3 pi over 4, negative 4 pi over 4, and so forth. And that's it. So that's how you do the secant and cosecant. First, you get the primary function, and then you just flip things over. And the A, the B, the P, and the Q are the same. So only difference is it gets flipped over because it's a reciprocal function. Okay, so that takes us to the secant and cosecant function. Okay, so now let's go over tangent and cotangent. So you need to kind of memorize your basic graph. So on page 595 on the top, if you notice that so when you're doing the graph, right? Notice on your graph paper, you have this graph paper, right? So you need to know that the tangent graph, and remember the graph will never ever touch the asymptote, never ever. Okay, so the graph should never ever touch the vertical asymptote. If you touch it right away, it's wrong already. So you need to know that the tangent goes this way, and the axis goes through the middle right over here. That would be a y-axis. So this would be y equal to tangent of x. Okay, and I will go over the values later on. So you're going to need to get this value over here. So see over here. So this is your halfway, and this would be your quarter wave. And this halfway, when you go up, go over. That's the point where you put your amplitude. Okay, and you go halfway, you go down, symmetry. That's your. So it's almost like a rectangle. Okay. Again, we're going to cover more of these when I get through the basics. So you need to know that. So again, you need to know that the tangent x going this way is going up. Okay, it's going up, and the axis goes through here. Now for y equal to cotangent of x. So again, you have this graph over here. So cotangent is a reciprocal of the tangent. So everything got flipped upside down. So instead of going up like this, it's going to go down. So basically, you flip the graph upside down. Okay. So the graph is going to go really bad. You have to go through the halfway point. So it's going to go through like this. Okay. So it's going to go upside down, and then, and because it's periodic, so it's going to go like this, right? So every period is going to be the same. So like this one over here, the tangent again is going to go this way, right? Okay, and the cotangent is going down this way, and the axis, see for tangent, the axis goes through the middle. For cotangent, the axis goes through the asymptote right over here. So this would be a y-axis, and this would be the x-axis. Okay, and other than that, so this is same thing, the halfway, the quarter wave, and this way give you amplitude. Okay, so let's go over a couple examples how to do the tangent and cotangent. So let's do one example of tangent and one example of cotangent. Okay, so let's say if you have graph of y equal to, again, let's try 3 tangent of 2x. Okay. So again, a equal to 3, b equal to 2. Now, for the period, if you notice for tangent, let's say if you go this way, remember tangent is a slope, right? But what is the period for tangent? It's not 2 pi, because you get over here, you get the same slope, see that? So the period is pi, okay? So again, for tangent and cotangent, the period is pi. Whereas the other 4 functions, the period is 2 pi. Okay, so for the period, it's going to be pi over b. Okay, so you got to remember for tangent and cotangent, because you can see over here and here, it's only pi apart. So period in this case would be pi over 2. But now instead of using the quarter wave, use half wave, because you only get half. So half wave will be half of that, so it would be pi over 4. Right? I can times it by 1/2, so you get pi over 4. So now let's go and do the graphing. Okay, so it's tangent, so it's going to go this way. Okay, and the axis goes through here, so that's my y-axis, this is x-axis. So this would be 0, and each section is pi over 4. Okay, so let's see. So this would be pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, and this would be negative pi over 4, negative 2 pi over 4, negative 3 pi over 4. Okay, so each of this division would be that. Okay, now let's go and do the amplitude. So amplitude would be halfway over here, then you go up and you go over, that would be where the amplitude would be. So this would be 3. That's where that is going to be. Again, see this over here? You just go up and over this point over here. Okay, and you want to do it symmetrically. So over here, if you go the same amount right over here, right, if you do it correctly, right, this point would be your negative 3. Okay, so that's where the amplitude would be. Okay, so you erase that. So that would be your negative 3, and that's it. That's your tangent graph. Okay, now let's go and do a cotangent graph. Okay, how about y equal to 2 cotangent of pi x? Okay, so you can go through all that. So a equal to 2, b equal to pi, period is equal to pi over b, which is equal to 1, and so the half wave would be 1/2. Okay, so your graph, again, this is your graph paper. Okay, so again, the cotangent is going to go this way. It's going to go this way. And the axis goes through right over here. That's your y-axis. This is your x-axis. Okay, and half wave is 1/2, so this is 0. So this is 1/2, 2 halves, 3 over 2, 4 over 2. If you go backward, this is negative 1/2, negative 2 over 2, negative 3 over 2, negative 4 over 2. Then you can simplify the fraction if you want to. You can do it later. Right now, just get these things done. Okay, now the amplitude. So from here, you're halfway up. Over here, you go across. Okay, that's where this is going to be, right over there. Okay, that's how you figure out where that point is. And so you just go by symmetry, so this point right over here would be a -2. Again, you need to know how to locate this point. Again, you just go go halfway between these two sections, and you go up and over. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so that's your cotangent graph. So that's kind of cover all the graph. Okay, so let's go and do some practice.